Bernstein along with Dave Bontempo, where our boxing special continues along. And in our main event, Tommy Morrison will be taking on Terry Anderson. And Anderson, a journeyman heavyweight, if you will, coming into the ring, he comes in with a 20-8 record with 18 KOs. A key for him in this fight, he believes, is going to be conditioning. And he says this time he's got some.
Well, I spend a lot of time in the gym also. I've worked from 254 to 229 right now. I'm only here to do one thing, to fight. I'm here to win. I'm in it to win it now. Before, I was just messing around. Now I'm here. I'm back. I have God in my heart and God in my mind. I'm right here. I have nothing to fear. I'm ready to fight.
So there is Terry Anderson, who has become a poet apparently in recent days. He believes in much better condition than he was in recent fights, and of course he'll need to be against Tommy Morrison, especially with the early onslaught that Morrison gives to a lot of his opponents. And Dave, he may feel a little bit like a lamb being led to the slaughter here tonight.
He probably does. It's up to him to change that. He thinks he helped himself with the weight reduction. That certainly was one step in the right direction, and we'll see if he gets one on the chin here.
All right, well, you all know about Tommy Morrison. His story is well chronicled, but just in case you don't, to bring you up to date, Davey B has a look.
One way or another, Tommy Morrison defines a shootout. Early in his career, Morrison showed the heavy hands and pure power of a rising star. If he could take a shot, Morrison seemed destined for a world title. But against Ray Mercer, he would take too many, and he became a knockout victim.
Prior to the Mercer bout, I wasn't aware of how much pressure there was going to be fighting for title, number one, being a white heavyweight, number two. And there was a lot of things, a lot of pressure there. You know, there was a lot of exciting things that were going to happen in my life had I won that fight.
But Morrison showed the ability to change styles and results against George Foreman.
There's no way that George can match me speed-wise. There's no way he can match me, you know, athletic ability. I mean, I'm just a much better athlete than he is. He just got tremendous power. But what he, you know, a lot of people forget is I got a lot of power too.
Morrison's boxing skills and willingness to be patient brought him the WBO title. But the prosperity did not last. Tommy got into a shootout with Michael Bentt, who had more bullets.
You know, I always train hard when I'm in the gym, extremely hard. I probably, in preparation for that bout, probably wasn't the most disciplined fighter out of the ring. You know, like I say, assuming I love women. It's just part of the package. But I've become a more disciplined fighter. You know, that's and I'm young enough to learn from those mistakes. I've never made a mistake that I didn't learn from.
Is Tommy Morrison taking too many punches? Can he mix more boxing into his arsenal? One thing is certain, he hasn't lost his power.
Sometimes you have to get scared a little bit, and we have, because my career cannot afford another loss. And I think it's finally hit me. It's finally hit home that you know, if I'm going to make this happen, I got to do it now.
And now begins tonight, where Tommy Morrison, with a little bit of a new look, comes into some fans that have seen him before. He made his usual extravagant entrance, complete with signs.
And the smoke-filled room lights up here as you might think you were watching the beginning of a concert.
Or the end of one in the old days. Let's go up to Mark Beer in the center of the ring for the introduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, Holden Productions, ESPN, and Budweiser, the undisputed king of beers, presents live from Tulsa, Oklahoma, the main event of the evening, 10 rounds heavyweights. Your referee for this event, once again, Kevin Champion. Here now are the principals introducing in the red corner to my right. He hails from the Big Guava, Tampa, Florida. He's wearing a white trunks, red trim. He weighs in at 229.5 pounds. His professional record, 20 victories, 8 defeats. He has 18 knockouts. Here is Terry Anderson. His opponent in the blue corner, wearing the black trunks with white accessories, red trim. He hails from Jay, Oklahoma. He weighs in at 224 pounds. His professional record, 43 victories, 2 defeats. He has 1 draw with 37 knockouts. He is rated number 20 in the world by the prestigious Budweiser ratings of Boxing Illustrated magazine. I present Tommy the Duke Morrison.
So now let's go to our AutoZone keys to victory, Dave.
Here's how they'll stack up, Al, as Anderson would like to work inside. Coax the slugfest with Tommy Morrison. He's got a 50-50 shot there. Tommy Morrison, the left hooks have been his staple. He talks about punching more on angles. This will be his chance.
So we are set to go. Round 1. That is Terry Anderson, the man across the ring. Tommy Morrison. It is a very, very small ring. You saw in our first fight, there wasn't much room for people to move around, get out of the way of big punches. I'm sure that suits Morrison because he is, after all, primarily a slugger.
Part of the home field advantage. It's a home ring.
Nice left hook by Tommy Morrison off the jab. Again, the jab of Morrison. Tommy is 26 years of age. He has been around so long, you tend to think he could be older, but he started very young.
Morrison's always had that power, now trying to move some jabbing in there. Doing pretty well so far in this bout.
He is scheduled for 10. Morrison's style has always been to come in, try and land big punches, and just do a double left hook.
And was able to get out of the way of a counter shot. And he talked about that this morning, how when he wants to follow through, he wants to be not directly in front of his opponent. He thinks that will enable him to have better defense. So you'll see him punch, and if he doesn't plan right, move right after.
Terry Anderson fighting a little bit like Ross Purdy did. Oh, he just got, I think, a head in the eye there. Appealing to referee Kevin Champion, but Kevin is kind of like the old laissez-faire capitalist used to be. Less is definitely more.
This is no knockdown maker.
I'm just guessing Kevin's a Republican. I don't know why. I'm just thinking, you know, less government, less interference, less everything.
Less counting.
Yeah. Anderson throwing the hook, getting hit with a big uppercut by Morrison.
Morrison moving the head down low now, trying to get close enough for a body shot to keep himself protected.
Wild overhand right by Morrison. His big power is in his left hook, but he's got a pretty good right hand. George Foreman found that out.
And now you see Morrison getting in here, trying to smother Anderson and step inside the shot. There's that big left hook Al talked about. That is his bread and butter.
Morrison covering up a little bit better in this match.
And he ducked under a shot as well.
Hooked by Anderson, and Morrison comes back, but Morrison gets whacked with a left hook.
The big question in this new style that Tommy Morrison wants to present is, what will happen the first time he's hit? Will he stick with the style or go back to the old ways?
That time he took the left hand. So Terry Anderson, while he has certainly lost round 1, has made some good things happen as well. Could be interesting. Let's go to round 2 when we come back. Back to our boxing special here from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Guess what? There's more boxing. This on the Deuce, ESPN2. It's called the Boxing Hit List. It'll be starting after our show. Michael Greer and Mark Carrier will be in the main event. And so we urge you to flip channels, check the Deuce out, and see some more boxing action here on the ESPN family of networks. That's Tommy Morrison fighting in front of his home crowd, even though he's from Jay, Oklahoma. Tulsa, of course, not that far. He goes in against Terry Anderson, the 32-year-old veteran who comes in with a 20-8 record. Morrison is 26 years of age. He is 43-2-1. The one draw on our network here against Ross Purity. The two losses came against Ray Mercer and against Michael Bent, both by knockouts. Good right to the body by Morrison.
And what has made Tommy Morrison exciting has been his heart. There you have the numerical edge, big right hand.
He got hit with a big right, Tommy Morrison. I think he was stunned.
As he was loading up for his own right hand, and there's a shot he should be warned for, and he's not. For hitting in the break, he imposes his own discipline.
Well, he whacked Terry Anderson on the break. Kevin Champion, as usual, did nothing. I don't think Tommy Morrison can be in a boring fight. No matter who he's fighting.
No matter what happens, he'll always get hit in that fight. And he'll show a lot of heart in coming back from that, no matter what it is. The broken jaw against Joe Hipp, he came back and won that fight. Purity, he was in very difficult shape. He stole a draw. At some point, you know he's going to be in some difficulty during the fight, going in.
Really, the only fight he fought more as a boxer was against George Foreman. And, of course, he won that fight and won it convincingly. Carl the Truth Williams, another wild brawl that he was in.
It was a little surprising he didn't go back to that style in subsequent bouts.
More than halfway through round two. This one's been interesting. We've had a lot of action period tonight. Derek Roddy winning against Sherman Griffin in our first match. And now here Tommy Morrison getting maybe a little more than even he thought from Terry Anderson. Of course, on the line is a pay-per-view match against Razor Ruddock, which is set for June 10th. But in Terry Anderson's mind, he'd like to derail that.
And what a great thrill it would be for a fighter as a journeyman's record to throw off somebody's pay-per-view big payday. Maybe put yourself into something bigger.
Tommy has had a very good second round here after getting nailed with some shots earlier. He's been doing a lot of the work inside against Terry Anderson.
Journalist. Punch me.
Again, he's trying to smother Anderson here as they lean on one another. Lean back a little bit, get his left hook going. Anderson warming to this, though.
Good hook by Terry Anderson. Now Morrison doing less punching and more grabbing on the inside.
It's one thing for him to get inside and smother, but he must be working his hands when he's doing that.
Good hook by Morrison at the end of round two. We'll be back.
Well, both fighters will pay the price here for leaving themselves a bit open. First, Anderson pays, then he comes back with a left hook, which almost caught Tommy Morrison even a little more flush than that.
We head into round three of the schedule for 10. Tommy Morrison, the former WBO heavyweight champion, landing a good right hand to the head of Terry Anderson, who shakes his head and says, didn't hurt me.
No, but the knees wobbled.
Good right again by Morrison. Now he is teeing off, and there goes Terry Anderson from a right hand. Well, for 2.5 rounds, Terry Anderson was quite competitive. Now he's getting nailed with big shots from Morrison, and Morrison is a good finisher.
And he can load it up when he really wants to.
Now Morrison's on the inside.
He should be outside bombing here. He's had measured success at best on the inside. Let the big left hook go. Move to the side and crank that left hook. That's what he needs to do here.
He is not giving himself much punching room. Anderson happy that he's on the inside. There goes the mouthpiece, I believe, of Anderson.
Which should cause a stoppage, and it does. So Tommy Morrison really took himself out of a good situation here. That's the rules. Anderson is entitled to the stoppage. Right after the knockdown, Tommy Morrison should have moved over to his left and fired the left hooks. What he did was stay in front of Anderson, and for the moment kept Anderson in the fight.
And they will take their time getting that mouthpiece in. Finally, it's in, and here comes Terry Anderson back again. And Morrison whacking with some good shots. Anderson holding on the inside. Now Morrison using the jab a little bit more, which he did earlier. Good hook by Anderson. So, he at least rights himself enough to land a good shot. Nice right by Morrison.
Anderson landing a left hook, but he scored it up high. He needs a little bit more room to punch, too. And our second mouthpiece intervention. Referees do have the option, though they rarely use it, of imposing a one-point penalty if they think the mouthpiece is coming up deliberately.
That is the second time in this round it has happened. Nice combination by Morrison. Anderson coming back with some left hooks. But all in all, a very good round for Tommy Morrison, including a knockdown of Anderson.
And Tommy Morrison sticking with the defensive first strategy here. Sometimes you get something in your head so much, you go to it, even if it might be better to go to something else.
Big round 3 for Tommy Morrison.
Come on, step back.
That'll do it for the third round. That is Terry Anderson's corner. Let's listen in.
All right, baby. Let me tell you something here. Let me tell you something. You got up off the mat, you understand? You heard him, and you didn't jump on him when you had him hurt. You hear me? Listen, I want you to breathe. You understand? You're in it to win it, ain't you? Yeah. All right, then. We ain't here to play with him. Keep that set up. Make him miss them all. You understand? Go to that body. Beautiful body work, baby. You understand?
Well, Anderson sent one message. He says, when his right hand hits him. Nothing there. Morrison says, oh, yeah. He'll score a knockdown right after this exchange. A shot on the top of the head. Able to keep it going. And down to the floor goes Anderson.
As Tommy Vergets in the corner with Tommy Morrison. A pep talk in the corner of Terry Anderson's. They felt that he had Morrison hurt in round 3. He might have momentarily, but he's the one that went down in the third round. We're in the fourth. It is scheduled for 10. Tommy Morrison in the black trunks with the red trim, and Terry Anderson from Tampa, Florida, the veteran, is in the white trunks.
Well, the knockdown round lending itself to power. Only 14 of 101 punches thrown in that round were jabs.
They both land. Morrison's was probably harder, but Terry Anderson is getting his share in.
And he was not backed off the mark. A nice right hand by Morrison, too. Anderson sticking around, making it interesting for a while. Morrison with the decided edge of the numbers, but this one is going to come down to the hammer.
And that hammer, it would appear, belongs to Morrison in this fight. Anderson, you know, is taking some big right hands. We think of Morrison always as a left hook knockout man, but, you know, his right has looked good to him.
He's taking advantage of what's been offered there, and from in close, he pops it up. Well, you put the knockdown in with the other 2 rounds, and in this department, Tommy Morrison is unscathed.
Lead right hand by Morrison. But I'll tell you what, Morrison's hands are coming down, Dave.
And the left hook by Anderson got in over that right hand just a moment ago. Purity didn't do any damage to Tommy Morrison until late in the fight. The 6th round.
Anderson has shown us a pretty good left hook here. And now covering up as Morrison lands the right hand.
And how many times have we seen when one fighter cannot put the other one away, how it comes back?
Right hand to the body by Morrison. A lot of leaning on the inside by both men. Holding. Good body work by Anderson, which is a great idea on his part.
Save some time. You get to get yourself back in the fight, not waste a lot of energy, and score with some good shots.
Morrison talking to referee Kevin Champion. They are both really wide open there to punch, though.
They're both trying to set up the bullying aspect for their uppercut. Trying to push the other fighter off to set up a shot.
Good right by Anderson. I wonder if he stunned Morrison, Dave.
Morrison keeps coming, but Anderson is setting up his punches well in there, too.
Both men look a little fatigued, but I got to tell you, Anderson has done some valuable work here in round 4. Morrison doing some holding on the inside. Body work by Anderson. A weary look in the face of Tommy Morrison. Well, the plot is thickening, folks. Come back for round 5.
outside. Short right hand, and he's landed some nice left hooks, too.
Well, we head into the 5th round. This one is scheduled for 10. Our boxing special, Al Bernstein, along with Dave Bontempo from Tulsa, Oklahoma, the Brady Theater. And it has been good drama tonight, folks. Our first fight, Derek Roddy winning a thriller over Sherman Griffin. And in this bout, even though Terry Anderson, who's back to you, was down in the 3rd round, he has made quite a fight of it here against Tommy Morrison.
He did well on the inside. Now he's starting to show some confidence, getting his jab going. When a guy comes in and he's on the road and gets past that first hurdle, all of a sudden believes he can win the fight. Anderson is starting to show in his mind, at least, that he wants to win this fight and thinks he can, and had a slight edge in punches landed in that round.
And landing 65%, Terry Anderson. Tommy Morrison threw only 8 jabs in the last round, and that is why Tommy Vergetz told him go out and jab a little bit. He's thrown only now about 1 or 2 in this round.
That was a carryover from round 3 in which Morrison scored the knockdown, so he abandoned the jab there, kept it abandoned in round 4, now wants to reestablish it because he needs it. And Anderson has checked into the win column here, scoring the last round very tightly. He's been down, which also figures in that fight.
So here in round 5, we're halfway through it, and Morrison has been much more circumspect about laying on the inside with Anderson, although now he's doing it.
He's doing it now, and sometimes it seems as though he's gone to it out of a reflex because it was a pre-fight plan. If he goes inside, he must punch more than he's been doing.
Good body shot by Morrison. Anderson came back with his own jab. Terry Anderson has pretty much taken this 5th round off at a much slower pace.
And when Tommy Morrison did not punch on the angles we described in the keys, he got caught in that last round. This round here, he's going the outside, showing something else, and some more movement.
Terry Anderson has not thrown too many combinations in this fight. Good hook by Anderson, and he just missed with another one. A right hand nailed Morrison against the rope. Tommy Morrison looks tired, Dave.
Yeah, he's been tired.
He looks
for the
tired.
last round. Has been.
Good hook by Anderson. Morrison with his own hook. Anderson with a punch to the body. Morrison complained was low. Kevin Champion comes in and he'll let Morrison take some time.
Tommy Morrison made the call. He went back to the corner.
Yes, he did. Kevin Champion issues a warning to Anderson, says 1 more and I'll take a point away. In our first fight, you remember, Derek Roddy allegedly was hit low, went down several times, no knockdowns were called. Anyway, this one rolls on and it's getting interesting. That is the face of Terry Anderson, 32-year-old journeyman heavyweight, came into this fight with a 20-8 record, 18 KOs. Taking on Tommy Morrison, who is 43-2 with 1 draw, 37 KOs. A man who is on the verge of a pay-per-view match with Razor Ruddock, but he's got to win here tonight to make it happen. That one is scheduled for June 10th. A very entertaining and interesting matchup, I think, of 2 heavyweights. However, Terry Anderson has something to say about it right now.
He certainly did in round 4. He took round 5 off. Now he's coming back with more fire here in round 6.
And he's landing, Dave.
Well, he's getting inside it. Tommy Morrison really should abandon this inside track here. Go more to the jab, set up the big shot. As Anderson landed a little bit more on round 5. I gave it to Morrison, but the fact here is when Tommy Morrison's outside, he hasn't been close to losing a round. He can move on the angles and set himself up.
Morrison landing a combination, gets hit with the right hand by Anderson.
If you're Morrison, you want to make Terry Anderson work for this. Don't get inside where Anderson would like to be and make it a 50-50 type of a fight.
Nice body work by Morrison, but he gets hit with the right hand. A reminder that Terry Anderson was down in round 3 from a series of punches by Morrison, the last one being a big right hand. It is scheduled for 10.
There were a no man's land again. Both fighters trying to set up an uppercut.
Anderson did a very nice job of covering up.
Using the ropes pretty well. He wants to fire out of there, though.
Good work to the body by Anderson. Remember, though, in the last round, he was supposedly guilty of a low blow, and Kevin Champion said one more, and I'm going to take a point. Good short right by Anderson. Morrison comes with the hook. Some pretty good work being done on the inside there by Terry Anderson.
Makes you wonder why Morrison won't abandon that and go back to what he does best. Even if he scores a knockout this way, it is still the hard way for him to fight.
Tommy Vergette told Tommy Morrison to get on the outside for the last round. Morrison moves away, and Anderson comes right after him. Morrison tripped there. That will not be a knockdown. Good hook there by Morrison. But since the third round, nothing has come close to hurting Terry. Big hook by Anderson. Right hand by Morrison.
Also the way Morrison got in trouble against Purdy here on the inside.
This one is in doubt. Make no mistake about it. Come back for round 7. Welcome back to round 7. Al Bernstein along with Dave Bontempo. Our boxing special, in which Tommy Morrison on the left of your screen is fighting Terry Anderson. And fighting is the operative word. This has not been a totally one-sided fight. Terry Anderson didn't come here to lay down. He came here to fight, and he's doing it, Dave.
In round 6, Al, when Morrison was going inside, Terry Anderson landing 71% of his punches, 34 for 48. Morrison 13 of 52, 25%. He's going to live on the outside in this fight. That's where he needs to be. Anderson has been stronger inside.
Probably the most worried man in this arena, one of the most worried, is Murad Muhammad, the promoter and manager of Razor Ruddock, who is the guy that's supposed to fight Tommy Morrison on June 10th in a pay-per-view match in Kansas City. He's worried.
And already $1.5 million has been committed to that project, money tied up. This is supposed to be the forerunner. And it's not going to be a very easy one for Tommy Morrison to get by. And Razor Ruddock was supposed to fight on this card. He had a tooth problem. Maybe he was smart.
He scratched from the card because of that. And because then we got a great first fight also in terms of Griffin and Derek Roddy. There's your score.
Anderson coming on, taking the last round. The round before that, very close.
Big body shot. And that was a beautiful left hook to the body. It sent Anderson down in the heat. That was vintage Tommy Morrison with the left hook to the body. It's going to end this fight. Well, this crowd and that man with a collective sigh of relief. One punch to the body does it.
Well, we talk about the left hook power of Tommy Morrison. And Anderson reacting as if it just broke his ribs in half. A very powerful shot. Tremendous bomb by Tommy Morrison.
That was about as good a left hook to the body as this man probably has ever thrown. And it certainly did the job. Terry Anderson is still down. Usually you're not down that long from a body shot.
That will take the judges out of play in a hurry. Right after you flash the scorecard, Tommy Morrison makes all the scores obsolete. Jabs his way in here. That's why the difference is, and then lands in with the left hook.
He had a lot of leverage on that one.
He started from the outside, worked his way inside, and the opportunity came. That's what was being said to him between rounds. It's what we talked about earlier about starting outside, and Tommy Morrison found the magic with one terrific shot.
So Terry Anderson did himself proud here this evening, fighting very well. And for Tommy Morrison, still getting a lecture from Tommy Vergette. He's got to be happy he found that left hook to the body.
He says, don't you ever fight inside again.
No. Mark Beer is in the center of the ring. Let's go to him now.
That's right. Exactly.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time, 1 minute, 34 seconds of the 7th round. The winner by a knockout to the solar plexus, Tommy the Dude Morrison.
So Tommy Morrison gets his 44th win as a professional and keeps alive the June 10th pay-per-view against Razor Ruddock. Dave Von Temple will be with him when we return. With a body shot, and Dave will talk to him about it.
Okay, thanks, Al. Tommy, inside there was some difficulty tonight. You went outside, you found the solution.
One thing that we had trouble doing until we cooled off about the 4th and 5th round was working everything off the jab. Same problem I had in the Marcellus Brown fight. Once I started doing that, things started to fall together for us.
On the inside in rounds 5 and 6, tougher. Was there something said to you in the corner about going back to the basics for you?
Well, the deciding factor in the fight for us as a team is that we didn't stay low. I'm in there, I was bending at the waist and not bending with my hips. That allowed me to be an easy target to push around. He's a pretty strong guy on the inside, but once we went low and stayed low and remained calm, we started working everything off the jab and getting out of the middle, things came together for us.
Okay, Tommy, we're going to take a look at some earlier action in the bout, something you'll be very happy to look at. Take us through it here.
I think early in the fight I was able to, I wasn't as low as I wanted to be, but I was able to overpower him. And once I started staying low, then the opening started becoming bigger and bigger from a low position. I could see better, and we put the punches together and we got him out of there.
That's some tremendous leverage on the shot. Did you know it was over when you hit him?
Usually you can tell. Good body shots, people seem to make strange noises when you get it. You can tell by the sound, by the force of the yell, whether they're going to get back up or not. And I knew that if he did get back up, it wouldn't be long until we finished him off.
So you heard the sound and you knew that was it, right?
We heard the sound and we zeroed in on him, and yeah, I hurt my hand on his vertebrae there a little bit, on his backbone, but we're able to get things done.
You've got a shot coming up against Razor Ruddock, who is not here tonight. Your thoughts on that coming up?
Well, one thing that, I didn't know who Razor Ruddock was until after this fight's over. Now I can talk about him. We've been haunted by looking ahead a little bit too much in the past. We want to make sure that doesn't become a future problem.